Hey, movie fan, Jerry the Gen X movie guy here, and thanks for checking out this video. Movie award season is here. It's officially started a couple weeks ago when the Independent Spirit Award nominations were announced, and it continued last week with the Golden Globe nominations being announced. And so I am really excited because this is the first movie award season that I am really going to be celebrating on my channel. But I have been following these awards my entire life, so I'm really, really happy to be doing this. And in this video, I'm actually going to be taking a look at the Golden Globe nominations, but really offering more my takeaways. I have 11 takeaways from the nominations that I'd like to discuss, and I am going to discuss in this video. So the Golden Globes, one of the possible predictors for what will happen with the Academy Award. You never know, of course, but it's always fun that horse race, that movie awards horse race has always been so exciting for me. Before I get going, if you are a lover of movies, books, and pop culture, I do invite you to go ahead and subscribe to my channel, as well as like and share this video. Currently, my goal is to get to 500 subscribers. I am a few dozen away from that, so you could make the difference. I know it's only a click for you, but it really does mean the world to me. So thank you so much for your support. Let's go ahead and get going. The Golden Globe nominations, Golden Globe Awards 2025 movie award season is here. Here are my 11 takeaways from last week's Golden Globe nominations. And let's begin with the reign of Netflix. You know, Netflix has been kicking ass since the awards rules were kind of changed. The rules changed to allow streamers such as Netflix to enter this movie awards game doing their original movies. Netflix has done a really great job at campaigning for nominations and awards and doing really well, continuing to do well this year. But Emilia Perez, the Netflix movie, and it's an excellent movie, one of my favorites from 2024, received the most Golden Globe nominations, but also received the most Critics' Choice nominations. So I believe that this really means that Emilia Perez is really a definite front runner here, definitely up for consideration for many, many awards. I think we're going to be hearing a lot about this movie throughout the entire movie award season. I can't wait to see when the SAG nominations come out, or the Writers Guild nominations coming out, the Directors Guild nominations come out. Those nominations and awards are also really important to look at. And Emilia Perez leading with 10 Golden Globe nominations, including Best Picture, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress, and Best Director. One of the biggest surprises for me, as far as the movies that got nominated for a Golden Globe, I was really pleasantly surprised to see that the movie Challengers from earlier this year, I believe it was released back in March, one of my favorite movies of the year, one of the movies that I was most pleasantly surprised about. I went into it not really knowing what to expect. The romance genre is not really one of my favorites. It's not one of the ones that I'm most well versed in, so I am trying to get a little more into it, trying to appreciate it a little bit more. Challengers definitely falls within that genre, but it is just something more. It is a really special movie, but I do predict that the Challenger score is going to get, which by the way is from Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. I believe they are going to receive not only Academy Award nominations, I believe they are a front runner in this category. But I was really happy to see that Challengers also received a Best Original Song nomination, as well as Zendaya receiving a Best Actress nomination. So if you haven't seen Challengers, and especially if you like romantic type movies, especially sexy, salty, just really out there yet very contemporary and fun, and the music, honestly, I mentioned the score. The score in Challengers is honestly another character in that movie. And I was really pleasantly surprised to see that it received a few Golden Globe nominations. There were a couple of movies that I really was hoping beyond hope that the Golden Globe Committee, formerly the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, would recognize. Unfortunately, they did not. These movies also are not up for any Critics' Choice nominations. It's going to be an uphill battle for either of these movies to receive Academy Award nominations. What are the movies? Two of my favorite movies of this past year, Long Legs and Love Lies Bleeding. With Long Legs, I was really pulling for that Nicolas Cage nomination for Best Supporting Actor. I believe, especially the Academy. I remember the Golden Globes did nominate him last year for Dream Scenario. The Academy did not. So to me, that was a pretty big snub because Dream Scenario is an excellent movie. So is Long Legs. But unfortunately, these committees, these awards, the people that do the voting, because this is the critics, these aren't the YouTube critics, because if YouTube critics had a choice, Longlegs probably would have received a few nominations, quite honestly. But, the critics, they're a little bit stuffier than we are here on YouTube. Love Lies Bleeding, I can't even describe uh, just what had to happen for this movie to totally get ignored by the Golden Globe committee. Honestly, I know that Katie O'Brien did receive a Best Supporting Actress nomination, a Spirit nomination for independent films, and that was fine, and she deserves it. I think she also deserved a Best Supporting Actress Golden Globe nomination and a Best Supporting Actress Academy Award nomination. It looks like it's going to be an uphill climb for Love Lies Bleeding. I think the future of the awards potential for either of these movies, honestly, sadly for me, is pretty bleak. But hope springs eternal. All right, so a movie that was not snubbed by the Golden Globe Committee, I do think underperformed without a doubt, and that is Dune Part 2. Now, Dune Part 2 did receive three Golden Globe nominations. Um, a Best Picture in for a dramatic movie nomination. I'll be discussing that one in a minute. A Best Original Score nomination by Hans Zimmer as well, which apparently will not be eligible for an Academy Award nomination. I have heard that, and I am assuming the reason would be because the score was already used in Dune Part 1, so it is not an original score to Dune Part 2, and I'm sure the Academy has a lot kind of stricter eligibility requirement. So I've heard the Best Original Score nomination is just not going to happen. The big surprise for me was that Denis Villeneuve did not receive a Best Director Golden Globe nomination. So I don't know if that means, we'll see what the Directors Guild Awards look like and what their nominations look like when they're announced. Dennis may be out on a Best Director nomination, but I don't think Dune Part 2 is going to underperform to this extent at the Academy Awards, because I do believe that it's going to make up quite a few nominations in the technical categories. So, where it possibly could win in those, I just don't see Dune Part 2 being that serious of a contender right now in any of those 6, 7, 8 major categories. Another surprise for me was that the movie The Apprentice received a couple of Golden Globe nominations, performing nominations, one for Sebastian Stan, who played Donald Trump, and the other for Jeremy Strong, who played Roy Cohn in the movie. Both were really good performances. I don't see, not to get once again much into predictions here, but I don't really see either performance winning out. But Sebastian Stan actually received two Best Actor nominations, one in the dramatic category for The Apprentice, the other one in the comedy musical category for A Different Man, which to me was
Oh,
a
hey.
much heavier performance, just a deeper performance. He was really perfection in A Different Man. I love that movie. The Apprentice was okay. I don't really see this one legging it out through the rest of movie awards. I that's why I kind of have this as a key takeaway from the Golden Globes. The Golden Globes may be the only time that these Apprentice nominations appear, but I found it notable anyways. Okay, it's time to talk about one of my favorite movies of the year, favorite movies of the decade so far, probably, and that is The Substance. The Coralie Fergate, I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly, directed movie, body horror movie. It is pure perfection. I believe I rated it even a 5-star rating. It is such an excellent movie. Also, a comeback vehicle for Demi Moore, who hasn't really made a movie lately, hasn't really been out there in the public eye. This is kind of her big comeback. I expect this movie to leg it out. Clearly, the critics, not just here on YouTube, but everywhere, the critics everywhere are trying to endorse this movie. Will the Academy voters listen? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. With The Substance being a horror film, it does increase the likelihood that the Academy will ignore, just simply because for some reason the Academy treats horror films like a bastard at a family reunion, and I don't really understand that, to be honest with you, because there are just some truly great cinematic horror films that deserve recognition. The Substance is one of them, and received quite a few nominations, not just Best Picture, but also Best Director, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress for Margaret Qualley, who, by the way, also received a Critics' Choice nomination. So both of these ladies could end up getting nominated for this movie. I'm really excited to see what happens with The Substance here in the next few months with all these awards ceremonies coming out, seeing where the recognitions come out, especially with SAG, because that Best Actress category, and I have no idea where my prediction is going to go on this one. That Best Actress category for a comedy or musical is one of the strongest categories ever. I mean, that category is stacked. So Demi Moore may have an uphill climb to get there, but I think she actually has a pretty good shot at receiving her very first Academy Award for really what will end up probably becoming a career defining role for her. One of the quietest releases over the past couple of months has definitely been A Real Pain, which has really opened up to critical acclaim. Not so much with the audience. I mean, the audiences that have seen it do love it, don't get me wrong. It's just the box office grosses have been kind of low for this movie. But now, if you're not familiar with A Real Pain, it is a movie that Jesse Eisenberg, yes, the actor Jesse Eisenberg wrote. Him and Kieran Culkin star in it. I have not yet seen this movie. I am excited to see it. I will be seeing it. I just haven't had the opportunity, and I am really excited to see it. But I am aware that Kieran Culkin is receiving some incredible press on this, some incredible reviews, and he seems almost like a lock for at least an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor, and he almost appears to be the front runner. So I'll be interested to see how the SAG Awards pan out, as well as the Golden Globe and Critics' Choice, because in the supporting categories, they're pretty good predictors in those categories. So, keep an eye on Kieran Culkin, but as well as Jesse Eisenberg. And that's another takeaway for me from the Golden Globes, is that Jesse Eisenberg actually received 2 nominations because A Real Pain was nominated 3 times. Kieran Culkin, supporting actor. Jesse Eisenberg also received a Best Actor nomination, as well as Best nomination for Best Screenplay. We'll see what happens, but right now, I think it's looking pretty good that Jesse Eisenberg wins for Best Screenplay, Kieran Culkin wins for Best Supporting Actor. Another key takeaway for me is that the Golden Globe dramatic categories are not nearly as strong as the comedy musical categories are, as far as the strength of the contenders, so shall we say. For example, the Best Dramatic Picture category includes The Brutalist and A Complete Unknown. 2 movies I've yet to see, I believe, are going to do quite well, one of which may be the winner in this category. I'm leaning towards one right now. I'll be ready to offer up my prediction here in a few days. Who knows if I'll be right, but hey, it's a fun game, anyways, right? But if you look at the rest of the category, it's Conclave, Dune Part 2. Dune Part Two's nomination in the Dramatic Best Picture category seems just kind of thrown in there. And then you have Nickel Boys and September 5, which are 2 movies that I believe those were their only nominations. So they're just kind of thrown in there. So that leaves really 3 serious pictures if you do include Conclave, which did receive a few nominations. Sadly, I think Conclave is the one that could actually receive the few nominations and not get any awards. But to me, when you compare this to the comedy and musical Best Picture category, you see kind of just how weak it is when the Best Picture comedy musical category has movies like Honora and Wicked and Emilia Perez. Some of the just the most talked about movies of 2024 are in that comedy musical category. And I think the bulk of those are really the ones that are going to be getting the Academy Award nominations and perhaps even Academy Awards themselves. All right, so now I'm going to talk about the Best Actress in a Drama category, and this is almost a little bit of a hodgepodge. And let me tell you what I mean by that. These are really amazingly talented actresses, all 6 of them that are nominated. But the 6 movies that are nominated are really some of the more lesser known movies that received nominations. Most of them only received 1 nomination or 2 nominations at most. But one performance really stood out for me, or one actress that got nominated. That is Pamela Anderson. Yes, the Baywatch Pamela Anderson, who received a nomination for a movie called The Last Showgirl. This is another movie that I haven't seen. I know it seems like I haven't seen a lot of movies that I'm talking about, but believe it or not, I have actually seen most of the movies that have been nominated. But I'm going to remedy that here, and I will be seeing The Last Showgirl, and I'm really excited to see it because if Pamela Anderson turns out an award-worthy performance, this could be another comeback story. Now, will she win a Best Actress Academy Award out of this, even if she ends up winning the Golden Globe? That's going to be a really tough haul when you look, once again, at those actresses that are nominated for comedy or musical, and you have Cynthia Erivo, Mikey Madison, Carla, Sophia Gascon, Demi Moore. Whoever gets that 5th nomination is automatically going to be in 5th place, even if it's one of these 5 actresses, even if it's Pamela Anderson. But that would be a really great feather in her cap, anyways, if she were to win the Golden Globe, and even to receive an Academy Award nomination, I think would be a feather in her cap. All right, so as you will find out if you continue to watch my videos here on this channel, I am a huge cheerleader for the horror genre, especially well-made horror films that I believe are deserving of award consideration. I've watched so many great horror movies get completely ignored. We all have. Movies like Hereditary and Quiet Place, who totally get ignored by award committee after award committee. Well, this year, the Golden Globe Committee has nominated Hugh Grant for Best Actor in a Comedy or Musical. Don't understand the comedy or musical part, by the way, but for Best Actor, Comedy or Musical for his performance in Heretic, the horror film, the religious horror film that just came out a couple of weeks ago. I actually just had the privilege of watching Heretic within the past week. It has received a 5-star rating from me. It will be one of my favorite movies of the year. Will it make it into my top 10? I have seen a ton of good movies this year, great movies this year. So we'll see there. It very well could, by the way. But his performance in that is absolutely haunting, and it is the best performance I've ever seen of his. I am not a huge Hugh Grant fan, though. I will put that disclaimer out there. But I love the movie. I'm so happy that he received that nomination. I would have liked to have seen him go a little bit further, perhaps, because honestly, I believe Heretic is also worthy of a Best Picture nomination, especially in a field of 6 movies in this case, or 10 movies as it will be with the Academy Awards when they're announced. The Heretic, definitely one of the best of the year. Hugh Grant turns in an amazing performance. I think he actually stands a really good chance of winning the Golden Globe Award for his performance. And it is time now for my last major takeaway from the Golden Globe nominations. And that is the absolute snubbery that happened with Robert Eggers' Nosferatu. I have yet to see this movie. My husband and I have tickets to see it on Christmas night when it opens here. Unfortunately, I was not one of those um, lucky YouTubers that received screener copies or received invitations to advanced screenings. Hopefully, my goal is to build this channel up to where I do receive those kind of opportunities. But from what I have heard, and I do trust my brothers and sisters here on YouTube, is that this movie is a modern day classic. And Robert Eggers has really put out some of the most interesting movies in the past few years. While they may be a little bit divisive and not everybody likes them, I don't even care for a couple of his movies, to be honest with you. They don't resonate with me the way they do others, but I do recognize just what a brilliant filmmaker the man is. And they completely ignored Nosferatu. The Golden Globe Committee completely ignored him. The Critics' Choice gave Nosferatu a few of the technical awards. But what is that? Where the snubs are coming? Best Picture, Best Director, and from what I've heard, an Oscar-worthy performance from Lily Rose Depp has yet to get recognized by any of these preliminary awards committees. So we shall see when the SAG Awards come out whether or not her performance stands there. I am so excited to see this movie next week. My expectations are through the roof. So to all you YouTube critics out there that I absolutely love, that I've listened to, I'm trusting you on this one. But to me, Nosferatu probably is the biggest snub of the Golden Globe nominations. I do believe that, yes, technical nominations will probably be in play. It may even win a couple of technical awards, but it's those top categories that I find the snubbishness of the Golden Globe Committee to be kind of just annoying, to be honest with you. Okay, that's going to be it for this video. But as I said before, if you do enjoy watching videos about movies, books, pop culture, I encourage you to go ahead and subscribe to my channel as well as like and share this video. I really do appreciate your support. But that is going to be it for now. I look forward to seeing you again for a lot more awards talk. But until then, that's a wrap.